How do you say no to sin, to reject the temptation that you face each day? We've been learning that it's the grace of God that teaches us to say no to worldly passions, and especially to sexual temptation. One of my favorite passages about God's grace comes from the book of Jeremiah, but first I want to tell you a story about a woman named Mary. Once upon a time, Mary, who lived in a small town, told her pastor and her whole church that she had a vision where she spoke with Jesus. This dream where she was in his presence, and she told everyone how amazing it was, and the pastor didn't believe her. He wasn't so sure about all the dreams and vision stuff, so he called Mary into his office. He asked her some questions, tried to figure out if she was okay, was she stressed, was she sleeping enough, and everything seemed to check out, but the pastor still wasn't convinced, and so he asked her, "Mary, would you do me a favor? If you ever have another dream where you speak with Jesus, I want you to ask him what sin I really struggled with as a young man." Mary was surprised by her pastor's request, but she said, "Well, if it happens again, sure." Well, a few weeks go by, and the pastor starts hearing the rumor. Mary's telling the whole church that she had another dream where she spoke with Jesus. So the pastor called her into his office and asked her the same questions, trying to figure out if she was doing okay. And when everything checked out once again, he asked, "Well, did you remember the question?" And Mary said, "Well, yeah, pastor, how could I forget?" "Oh, really?" the skeptical pastor said. And what exactly did Jesus say to you?" "Well, I asked Jesus what sin you really struggled with as a young man, pastor, and Jesus looked back at me and he said, 'I don't remember.'" I'm not sure what you think about dreams and visions and Jesus, but this I do know for sure. In Jeremiah chapter 31, God said, "I'm going to make a new covenant, a new agreement with my people, and I will forgive their wickedness, and I will remember their sins no more." That's grace. God doesn't just forgive us, he doesn't even remember our sins. If you would confess your sexual sin to Jesus, he would say, "I don't remember that." If you would cry out and say, I can't believe, Jesus, I did that again to you. I promised I wouldn't," he would say, I don't remember any of that. His mercy and grace is so complete that when God thinks about you, his son, his daughter, the last thing on his mind is your sin. Now that is what teaches us to say no to temptation, that we are loved so much by a God who is that great. That is amazing grace.